Hello, my name is Jessica Silva, and thank you for coming today. How many of you like alcohol?
Yay.
Like most people, people have a preference with their food and beverage. Like if you're at a sporting event and you like beer with your nachos, or maybe you're at a cocktail party and you like a glass of champagne with your hors d'oeuvres. If you're like me and work in the food industry, then you need to know what type of beverage to serve and how it pairs with the food in order to get a good tip. So according to basicwineknowledge.com, these are some simple wine vocabulary terms to know while you're learning about wine. The first word would be tannins. Tannins are part of the skin, seeds, and stem of the grapes, and it gives it an acidic, bitter preservative, and it's mostly found in red wines. The body of the wine gives it the texture and weight of the wine, and it gives it the flavor in the mouth of the taster. And the last one would be the legs, not the ones I'm standing on, but the ones when you swirl a red wine in the glass. It'll come on the inside of the glass, and the longer the legs are, the more alcohol is in the wine. So how will you know which wine to serve with each food? All the food. According to foodservicewarehouse.com, they suggest that opposites don't attract here. So if you have a heavy, rich meal, then you want a heavier wine. If you have a light, delicate meal, you want to have a lighter tasting wine. So which ones are light and which ones are heavy? According to wines.com, there are 3 different types of wines. We have on our table, we have a red wine, a white wine, and a sparkling. There are many different types of each, and I'm going to hopefully get through all of the reds and whites. So these are all of the pairings according to wines.com that suggest which wine should be with which food. So for our red wine, I have a Cabernet Sauvignon, and Sauvignon is French, and it means savage, and savage relates to the tannins, because the tannins in a red wine are really harsh, and they need to be aged appropriately, and so that as they age, they soften the wine and they're not as harsh in your mouth. So a Cabernet Sauvignon pairs well with steak or a stinky cheese. Another red wine would be a Merlot. Merlots have less harsh tannins. They don't have to be aged as long as a Cabernet Sauvignon, which makes them more affordable and less harsh on your mouth. So they go well with prime rib or a pasta tomato dish. Pinot Noir stands for, it's French as well, black pine cone, and resembles the black pine cone as the grapes cluster when they're growing. And they go well with chicken, duck, or tuna. A Syrah or Syrahs, it's Syrahs only if it's made from Australia and has a velvety finish and goes well with heavy meats. A Malbec has perfect growing conditions in France and Argentina, and that goes well with lamb or beef. And lastly, for the reds would be a Zinfandel. It's a very versatile wine and can go pretty much with any simple foods like pizza or sweet barbecue. For our white wines, I have a Chardonnay, and it's appropriate glassware. It is the most popular white wine, and it goes well with fresh fruits, fish, poultry, and then we have a Riesling, and that's never barreled, and it goes well with Asian, Indian, Mexican, Thai, and fruits and desserts. Sauvignon Blanc, also a savage, meaning white blanc, or white savage, can go with anything, a creamy, buttery, shellfish, pork, or poultry. Pinot Grigio, like gray pine, is a medium-bodied wine and goes with harder cheeses and pasta. 2 more, we have a Chenin Blanc. That is a mix between Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc and goes well with salads and fish and chicken. And the last one's my favorite, is a Moscato, and it's more of a sweet wine and goes with desserts and fruits and cheeses. And then our last type category of wine would be our sparkling, and I have a champagne and a champagne flute. Most often served at weddings. It is a mix between a white and a red. So it's a mix between a blend of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And there's other different types of sparkling and dessert wines like port, and that's more, can be barreled or bottled, and it's a thicker more dessert wine, it's very expensive. So regardless of all the types of wine I've told you, according to foodservicewarehouse.com and myself, whatever your preference is with the wine, enjoy with your meal. And bon appetit and cheers!